Okay, let me see if I have this straight. The best offer on the table is still $15 an hour. And that is to sit at a cold, dark bench and make yet another version of a resource-eating widget that will in no way contribute to the betterment of absolutely anything. Then, I'm to take my $11 an hour after taxes home to my family and feed a meal that does not nourish their bodies, sitting at a table made of glue, paper, and hidden compromise, in a house that isn't designed to last more than 3 generations, all the while blindly teaching them to consume. I am to bury my confused dreams under mountains of debt, and my head in the sand in order to further a dollar per pound illusion of wellness. I am to carry the status quo and a sense of hypocrisy that feels like the ghost of regret. I will not be able to understand it, but plod along fully aware that this sleight of hand is at the root of environmental changes with the potential for mass extinction, and that it is in direct conflict with my integrity. Now, the wage offered is fair because it is the actual monetary value of such useless service, but every single one of us is worth more. We know more. We as humans are the exquisite combination of mind, spirit, and craft, bearing the tools to change physical reality. And we have paid ourselves less than a living wage to ignore our potential for far too long. I, for one, am done muting my senses and my wisdom. I no longer have the time to do wasteful and unimportant work that does not contribute to a legacy of compassion and reciprocity. I just don't have the energy to prioritize individual bank accounts over the health of our environment, nor my relationships and experiences. I cannot continue to compromise my definitions of quality and reality in order to support a bottom line that does not support us. I tried to trick myself into thinking that I could buy satisfaction by saving my spare pennies to purchase the same bullshit widgets that my own limbs and back ache from making. How long could that actually last? I felt the innate falsehood of that system long before I had the words to describe it. My understandings of this birthright mirage was more comprehensive in the womb than it was the day I stood in the dead of my cap and gown. As a day I knew Christmas wasn't supposed to be about the gifts. I just didn't understand why. So much of what we need in order to thrive communally cannot be purchased with legal tender. It's just the wrong currency for the application. We have given capitalism entirely too much faculty. Initially, it presented as a cordial system of exchange, a competitive way to get the best goods to market. Now it is a white-hot, alcohol-fueled express train for misled desires, running us headlong into being even less human tomorrow than we are today. The sorting process, where we hold revenue as our highest priority, has adulterated our culture. It is now to the point that we struggle to weigh accomplishment on an accurate scale. Overwhelmed by a worldview drowning in mediocrity, we sit behind screens in isolated cells and wonder how the hell we got here. And even if we were willing to look back, it would be impossible to count the number of brilliant and beautiful ideas that have been gutted on the chopping block of capital gain. The great generation reinforced the value of putting our backs into it, that work and toil build strength and character. And that virtue stands true, albeit a little misguided by nationalism. But over time, we saw those good ethics hijacked, and now we feel so very lost. We are sleepwalking in cheap imitations of our ancestors' skins, and we damn well know it. The shiny lure of higher profit, chased by our industrial revolutions, betrayed the nurturing connection we had to our craft, and we are still grieving. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for the machines that make us capable of 8 hours of work in a half day. But without meaningful purpose and technique to hone, my body will give you an hour and a half at best. I will retreat broken, disheartened, and judging myself for my inability to complete even simple tasks. I repeated that process enough times that I eventually found that I had built chain link walls of shame so high that I was less capable of recognizing and returning love. My relationship suffered and my confidence retreated. It turns out it is exactly love and respect, combined with the skills to exchange those gifts, that charges our internal batteries and enables us to do the work at hand. I am more than ready for a real fucking job. There will be plenty of work to go around when we recognize our fool's paradise for what it is and decide to redirect our infrastructure in a way that holds symbiosis as our brightest pole star. Nature has gifted us an honest and elegant system of balance, and complicated as it may be, that model is worth following at any cost. I am gnawing with broken teeth through my leather bit anticipating that work. Some of it has already started. But we need more. I know I need it. I know I need to understand in my core that I am contributing to a future that does not mirror my present nor condemn our children to much, much worse. Every soul on this living planet has a unique and important role, and we are overdue for a better system of aptitude evaluation in the context of altruistic contribution. Our delusions of progress have lost their luster in part because we need a guarantee that when we contribute to a valid cause by fulfilling our purpose, we will in turn be given the best care possible by the collective. I will gladly pick up a shovel and dig through the pain of my open blisters, whistling work songs with those beside me if it is for a worthy grand design. I spent a lot of time living in denial, hiding in fear, desperately trying to function from that place. And when not myself, I have done some really strange things. At times, I declared the very words in which I could sense truth completely irrelevant. I attempted to delegitimize them. I convinced myself that the words were just the product of another jealous have-not. I pointed fingers, used identifiers like ignorant, lazy, and unrealistic. I sought out medicines that I could not afford, with side effects that no one entirely understood. I reinforced my inner victim with terms like disorder, syndrome, without the least of the credentials necessary to back those diagnoses. I uncontrollably kept hiding the possibility that what we are actually witnessing is the psychological evolution of our humanity, trying to play passenger to an ideology that had careened off the tracks a century before we were willing to take notice. There is sand in the Vaseline. We have no one to blame but ourselves. Denial and systematic greed are not beings nor deities. They are merely constructs created by us. We sustain them. Therefore, in order to name them as our enemies, we have to be willing to see those foes in our individual actions and misinformed cravings. I am trying to take responsibility for my role in the game. I am focused with great intent on feeling and acknowledging that pain, and I am trying to use it to empathize, and then apologize to life for the suffering for which my one-eye-open actions have contributed. I accept that we are not as in control of ourselves as we pretend to be, and I am not looking to place blame. Instead, I am hunting for the path for which I can contribute to the creation and spread of new visions. And these dreams cannot include goals of false wealth, ladders of inequality, or of the passive mindset that feeds a rigged system of drought. I am with massive effort cutting these vestigial priorities free, and they are heavily falling to the ground. The stench of their decay serves as a warning to my internal greedy lemmings. It tells them to stop, breathe, listen, look, and feel. I am chasing light one sure and unsure step after the next, edging ever closer to being able to say the word we with as much conviction as I say I. That's Auto-American Denial, a century late. Hi. So this is the first time I've done anything like this, really. And, well, thank you. My hat's off to everybody here. I mean, you guys are actually performers. I'm just a guy, I think, stumbled on some words that sounded like truth and thought somebody else should hear them. So, my intent with this piece is that I'm on the hunt for community, and I'd like to make a short film with it, and I'm looking for people that are interested in contributing with their voice as well. So we'll give it a rip. We'll see what you think.
Where can we find you?
Well, right here tonight. I can get emails off anybody who's interested. And also, if anybody's interested in actually having a printed copy, you can do the same. I can get an email and I'll send you a printed copy. because it is kind of dense. So, all right, the title is American Denial, a Century Late.